solidly to the pavement, and a reassuring light glowed behind the frosted glass door. It was here that her uncle, Sean O'Malley, served as detective sergeant. Uncle Sean was probably at home, presiding over pot roast and potatoes with Aunt Maureen and the two youngest O'Malleys. But inside the station, Kate could hear the thunderous voice of Inspector Duggan, the night sergeant, bawling into the recently installed telephone in a voice loud enough to be heard in Brooklyn. If she were to confront the shadowy figure, she had best do it here, where a loud scream would summon reinforcements. Kate slipped into the shadow of the stairs and waited, holding her breath, until Bowler Hat turned the corner. He hesitated, stroking his handlebar moustache as he searched the empty street. Then she stepped out and accosted him with greater boldness than she felt, speaking in a firm, unfaltering voice. "Please be good enough, sir," she said, lifting her chin, "to tell me why you are following me." Bowler Hat's moustache twitched, and his beefy face registered surprise, alarm, and chagrin in that order. He hunched his shoulders and shifted his feet uncomfortably, his garments exuding the smoky seasoning of cigars and garlic. Then he collected himself, straightened his shoulders, and cleared his throat. "You mistake me, madam," he said with great dignity. "I am not following—" "Stuff and nonsense," Kate snapped. She stamped her foot. "Do you take me for a fool? You, sir, have been trailing a half-block behind me ever since I left Fifth Avenue. What is more, you were following me yesterday, and rather clumsily, I must say. Now, do you wish to tell me why you were being such an annoyance? Or do you prefer to yield that information to—" She pointed at the brightly lighted door. "Inspector Duggan." At that moment, Inspector Duggan was heard to shout into the phone, "Well then, and a good night to you too, sir," and to bellow for Corporal Peters, "On the double, damn it!" His jaw tightening, Bowler Hat's glance darted from Kate to the lighted door and back again. He hesitated, clearly perceiving that he was in a tight place. "As you wish," he said sourly. Reaching into the pocket of his tweed coat, he produced a leather card case and handed her a card. "If you will appear at this address on Friday morning at 10, you will be told what you wish to know." Kate turned the thin grey card to the light. On it was printed in bold letters the name Rodney P. Kellerman, and beneath that, Pinkerton's Detective Agency, New York office, with an address on 2nd Avenue. Kate's eyes widened. A private detective! What amazing good fortune! But she did not allow her delight to creep into her voice. "Pinkerton's?" she asked with cold formality. "And what, pray tell, does Pinkerton's require of me?" But Rodney P. Kellerman did not appear inclined to answer. He touched his fingers to the brim of his bowler. "Friday at 10, madam," he said, and marched stiffly around the corner. It began to rain. Chapter 2. In the late 19th century, the most popular form of narrative was the penny dreadful, or shilling shocker as it was called in England. Some of the tales were written pseudonymously by resourceful women who insisted on making a living for themselves. Susan Blake, with her own pen. Clutching Rodney P. Kellerman's card in a cold fist, Kate Ardleigh returned to her bleak third-floor room in Mrs. Murchison's boarding house on Maybury Street. It was a lodging she had taken only 4 months before, after the sudden death of her employer, Mrs. Winifred P. Schreiber, whose secretary companion she had been since leaving Mrs. Dawson's employ in 1889, 5 years before. Kate could have, and probably should have, she told herself, sought immediate re-employment. Mrs. Schreiber's lawyer would have been glad to give her the highest recommendation, as would Mrs. Dawson, whose 3 children, dreadful brats, she had tutored. As she was now a skilled typist, an art she had learned at Mrs. Schreiber's request.